It was the first day of school, Jimmy threw a fit, cause Jimmy didn't want to go to school, he just wanted to quit. Everybody picked on him, spit on him, treated him like shit. So he goes home and he sits alone with slits on his wrist. That was the only way he knew to escape from the pain he had. Plus his maniac dad wouldn't have time to try to save his ass. Always too busy drinking whiskey out of a paper bag, taking drags of blunts, but never once did he try to make him laugh. The next day at school, Jimmy made some friends. They said, "We about to ride, you wanna get in?" Are you kidding? I would love the rule, cause Jimmy thought the dogs were cool. So now he's saying fuck the rules, and that's when it begins. Now he's drinking beer and smoking weed and boosting cars. Used to be a loser, now he's making moves and breaking hearts. He thinks he's got it made, he's finally got a meaning. He's feeding the fiends what they need, and that's when he gets greedy.
Old habits never die, but clocks run out of time. So whenever it stops, you try to press rewind. Like if only I could go back to the past, not be distracted by cash, break this habit and snap it in half. Old habits never die, but clocks run out of time. So whenever it stops, you try to press rewind. Like if only I could go back to the past, not be distracted by cash, break this habit and snap it in half.
On the outside, Jimmy acted like he was fine, but deep inside his mind, he was feeling like he could cry. Cause he could make all this money, but it really don't mean nothing. Cause he only wanted something money just couldn't buy. He had a hole in his heart that the riches could never fill. Had expensive addictions, he said he's quitting, but he never will. But it's whatever, he's clever, he said it's only pills. No big deal, it's not like I'm shooting dope, I just smoke and chill. The next day alone, Jimmy called his friends. What do you know? They didn't answer again. Are you kidding? I just needed help, cause I can't beat it by myself. I need somebody else to come and tell me where it ends. Now he lost his hope, he turns to dope and poking needles, looking for his bros, but he knows that he chose to leave his people. The bridges are burnt, but he wishes they weren't. The distance between his friends is what gives him this hurt. His vision is blurred.
Old habits never die, but clocks run out of time. So whenever it stops, you try to press rewind. Like if only I could go back to the past, not be distracted by cash, break this habit and snap it in half. Old habits never die, but clocks run out of time. So whenever it stops, you try to press rewind. Like if only I could go back to the past, not be distracted by cash, break this habit and snap it in half. Fast forward a couple years to the future, Jimmy sits alone on his couch where he shoots up. Too much time has passed since he last got the chance to have a laugh, sit back, relax, but he did it on his own, so he's only got himself to blame. Don't know where he's headed, repetitive cycles are like a rifle aiming dead at his brain. They try to snipe you, but you gotta stay ahead of the game. It rains, then the sun shines through, and then you see the better side of life. The little things you neglected to see, like you was blinded by the light, trying to hide the appetite, but you was dying to finally find something to ease your mind into nights tonight. He said, alright, enough is enough, it's time to be tough. I'm sick and tired of my mind relying on drugs, I'm over it. And all I know is it's the closest I've ever been to emotionless overdosing on hopelessness. I hope that Jimmy changes, but I just don't see him stopping. He's lost in his own mind, denying that he's got a problem. Bring up the topic and he stops talking. He's walking away with his hands in his pockets like fuck it, I gotta stop it. Dropping his habits now and turning his life around. But every time he said he's trying, he's lying, he's overwhelmed. He knows he failed, so he grabs a gun and loads the shell. He said he's sick of his life, I'd rather live in hell. Old habits never die, but clocks run out of time. So whenever it stops, you try to press rewind. Like if only I could go back to the past, not be distracted by cash, break this habit and snap it in half. Old habits never die, but clocks run out of time. So whenever it stops, you try to press rewind. Like if only I could go back to the past, not be distracted by cash, break this habit and snap it in half.